picture on the wall is a picture of Shannon Chihuahua and his family. The story behind the picture is his youngest baby daughter was born shortly after we deployed, and he was able to come home and be here, but he just missed it by like 2 weeks. And but he got to spend the first few weeks of the baby's life together, and they had pictures taken. Then he deployed back over to Afghanistan shortly after that. We were in the Pesh River Valley of Afghanistan, which is in the Kunar province.
Kunar province, Afghanistan. Pesh River Valley.
And down that river valley, there's basically one road that goes down through there. Towards the end of that road is the Korengal Valley, which has been famous for years, known as the Valley of Death.
He's down in the draw!
Most of the fighting and dying in Afghanistan happened in remote places that few Americans ever heard much about.
Give him some down low. There, you're doing good.
Like the area around the U.S. outpost called Restrepo, a 6-mile-long Korengal Valley.
Back when the Russians had invaded Afghanistan, that's where they got defeated at. And there was a Korengal outpost there before we got there. And there's a documentary about that, Restrepo.
Hey, Roger, the 10,
The Restrepo outpost was named for one of the company's medics, Juan Restrepo, killed in action in the Korengal Valley.
It's the bloodiest area of Afghanistan. I was just west of that into the valley. FOB Blessing was our battalion headquarters.
Home sweet home.
I was a medical platoon sergeant for 1st 327 101st Airborne Division. I think as a medic, we hope we never have to do our job, but that's what we're there for.
While away from his family, Army Specialist Shannon Chihuahua recorded as many moments as he could. The 25-year-old combat medic from Thomasville deployed to Afghanistan in 2010.
Shannon Chihuahua, he was a line medic with the Delta Company. Well, we knew before we left that his wife was pregnant, and we talked about it before we even left, that we were trying to get him back as quick as we could for the baby. That's why he was gone. We had another guy come to the FOB where he was at and replace him. While he was gone, his replacement had come and talked to me about taking his place, and he had asked to if he could stay there and then Shannon could take his place at the other FOB, which was FOB Able, Maine. He said that he really wanted to be there and he wanted to change of pace, and Shannon was kind of wanting to get a different change as well. And I told him, I said, well, I don't think we're going to be able to do that. You guys have trained this whole time to be where you're supposed to be. That's what we're going to stick with. And then when Shannon had come back, I explained that to him as well, and he didn't have a problem with it. He understood, and so he stayed with that platoon. And then in November is when he went on a mission. It was a big mission called Bulldog Bite.
Bulldog Bite was designed to push back on the enemy, create a greater area of security.
Shannon's platoon was actually there. At that time, they were doing route recon. So they would go out and they would clear the routes for IEDs to make sure it was clear before the convoys would come through. So I got to spend quite a bit of time with him those 2 months.
Our objective was to clear the village of all enemy and any caches, weapons, explosive things of that nature with the A&A.
There was discussions before this mission had gone that they thought there was some leakage of the intel and that they knew they were coming. And as soon as they landed, they took fire. There was like 4 or 5 guys that were injured right away. The squallier is the one that he took a head wound. That's the one that Shannon was working on. He goes over to take care of him, and he's taking care of him. He's kind of sitting over top of him to kind of protect him from fire and to evaluate him. And as he's sitting there, an RPG hit him basically square in the chest. The soldier that he was working on was evacuated, and he survived. And he's living today. I think he's in New Mexico is where he lives at today. But basically, Shannon was awarded the Silver Star for his actions that day and the medical care that he gave under fire, saving his squallier's life. Just heroic actions in the face of battle. Not everybody can do that kind of thing. Not everybody has that courage to do that. I remember my platoon leader waking me up in the morning. It was like maybe, 4:30 in the morning, telling me that we had casualties. And when I found out later that one of them was Shannon. And we gathered all of our guys from our fob together, all the medics, and so we could tell them what happened. And I remember standing in front of everybody, you know, platoon sergeant and sergeant first class. I'm supposed to be this big, tough, strong guy, and I couldn't even get the words out of my mouth. Just kind of stood there crying in front of everybody. And I just felt, I don't know, I felt like it was my fault because I wouldn't let them change positions. But my whole goal was to bring everybody back from Afghanistan, and one of us didn't come back. So it was just, it's something that stuck with me all this time, but I couldn't let go, and I was afraid to let go. I was afraid to let go because I was afraid that if I did, I felt like I would dishonor his memory. And even though it hurt to hold on to it, at least I was holding on to the memory of him and having him with me still. And every anniversary day and Memorial Day was pretty hard for a while. It's gotten easier over the years, but I was just afraid to let it go because I just didn't feel it was right for me to do that.
What if there's another way to look at that, which is, had Shannon not been there, that platoon commander would have died.
I guess when I think about the second and third effects, I've never really, honestly, I never really thought about it that way until today. That those men are alive because Shannon was there. I guess I've always just kind of carried it with me that he was killed. I never really thought about what would have happened if he wasn't there. Now, thinking about that, I know that God puts us in places for reasons, and he has a greater plan for all of us. I truly believe that's why he was there. He was there to save those guys, and ultimately that's what a medic's job is. The love of laying down your life for someone else is nothing greater than that. No greater love that you can do. I'm sure, I know God put him there for the reason to save those guys. And I have no doubt that he put him in my life to guide me where I need to be as well. So I've had so many people have come into my life that you don't really think about, that have kind of guided me down a road that's led me where I am today. And I think Shannon is one of the biggest reasons for that, one of the biggest guiding factors in my life.